Hi, it's Colli from Colli. And today, well, I'm still in White Rock and I'm going through an interesting journey, as always, because isn't that what life is? And I'm becoming more and more aware of how amazing this thing called life really is. So today we're going to go deep. Well, don't I always say that? Today we're going to talk about the paths to your soul purpose. Now, this is all, of course, to do with transformations, right? So, those who have found and lived their life purpose, their soul purpose or soul passion, they truly enjoy an enriched life and inner fulfillment. They're nourished with all they need to experience abundance, and their inner glow inspires others, awakening their wish to also find, embrace, and live their soul purpose. And all my guests are living their soul purpose after they've actually gone through a transformation. So today I was going to just take you through a few steps with regards to finding your soul purpose. Now, you can't search for your soul purpose. You can only find it within yourself. You can only let it happen because it's always there, waiting for you to finally give up your resistance to it. Yeah, that's right. The resistance. This resistance is born out of fear, which prevents you from mustering the courage to open up to and embrace your soul purpose. So, step two is really embracing your soul purpose. Giving your soul purpose space in your life means surrendering to it. It means being honest with yourself and leaving behind everything in your life that keeps you from living your soul purpose. It means being active, letting processes happen, trying things out, and gaining new experiences. So, step three, living your soul purpose. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because now you can discover the beauty in everything that your soul purpose has to offer. You can see the higher purpose of the challenges and experiences of your life, almost as if you're personally unaffected. It's like stepping out of your own body and taking second position and looking down. When I fly, I always take the opportunity to be above the clouds, of course. And if there's clouds, I'm still above the earth. So I always like to use that as a way to look down upon my lifeline, my timeline. And it's amazing when you do that because you really do get a different perspective on your experiences, your challenges, and it's almost as if you're personally, like I said before, unaffected. So in return, you have that unlimited energy. You have that access in that moment to that. I know a doctor this spring actually who worked with a patient in advanced stages of cancer, and she spent most of her day, watching TV and waiting for death, and she was hoping to get more out of life. And when I was in discussion with this doctor, I said, "Well, what did she expect from you, right?" And he said, "Well, she expected help and support, right? Of course. And what about maybe something else?" And he said, "No, she just really wanted help and support." Well, there is another element to all this, and that is getting some help from a higher source. And the following question through this conversation arose in me, what is she offering life, the source, the divine in return? What is her soul purpose? You see, life doesn't work according to the principle, once I'll be healthy again, I can do blank, blank, blank. Either we're able to do blank, blank, blank anyway, no matter how we feel, or we'll never do it because it's precisely doing that gives us the strength to get healthy, to change our lives and become happier people. We're pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps rather than waiting for someone else to do it for us. So, a good suggestion would be, that this person, that she creates an internet platform where she could describe how she was given new meaning to life, for example. And you see that people do that, right? They create things, and then they're able to, because they've transformed their life, they're be able to now live the life of which they've transformed into, and then assist others. I mean, that's what happened to me, and it has happened to all my guests. So it would be a beautiful side effect if, you know, life could go really smoothly, but it doesn't all the time, right? The primary effect, is that we're able to tell life what is still ours to do as an individual human here on earth. And then life will give us all we need to accomplish that. What a concept. I love it because it's true. In my work, it's always working in the field. Even when I'm not working, I'm in the field. And Einstein said it brilliantly. There is no place in this new kind of physics, both for the field and matter. For the field is the only reality. And fields are sound spaces, energy clouds, energetic states that contain a charge, and thus a directionality of focus. And the field will always, always, always win. Fields are the basic and all pervasive force. Yeah. Matter corresponds to these densified fields with tiny particles mixed in. And solid structures consist of minuscule particles that appear solid because they move at a nearly infinite speed. So, for comparison, take the image of a rotating fan, presenting an impenetrable obstacle. The fan depends on electricity, and increasing the power will make it oscillate faster. Turning it off will bring it to a standstill. And fields cause matter to vibrate. This is similar to how the human body follows the rhythm of, say, music, even on the dance floor, right? So, if we want to change reality, changing the fields that create reality is the easiest and most effective way. Change the music, and baby, your body will move in a different way. So, with sharpened senses, these fields of present, past, or future can be perceived and transformed energetically. Think Bruce Lipton. Oh, Bruce and I go way back, and I can't wait to have him on my podcast, which I've mentioned many times that he will be. But the thing is, yeah, the biology of belief, right? It's that belief. It's decoding. It's decoding all of this. So this is the direct way to change reality. The field structures and interactions of different fields, and it reveals all this. This allows us to identify, the causes and understand how things are actually connected on a much larger scale. And reality really does follow the field. So there's so many different forms of field energies, and they're so beautiful when they're open, free, unlimited, and shiny and harmonious. And when living in such an environment, we can experience much joy. If you think of walking into a place of beauty, a museum, an art gallery, nature, abundance of wildflowers and sun and ocean, or even the dry prairies where I live, but now I'm by the ocean and I'm getting to experience all that I did when I lived here before. And interestingly enough, speaking of living here before, I'm not the same person that I was when I lived here before. And as I walk through, and I walk every day for hours, I walk through the way I was before, but see it differently because I am not the before. It's amazing. The transformation. It's just beautiful. It's just like a dance, synchronicity and harmony and beauty and peace. So these fields are so, like I said, beautiful when they're open and free. And, when we're living in this, it's a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere. And I'm just so grateful to be experiencing all of this right now. And even when I go back, it will be, I get to experience what I go through here and take it home. It's going to be a transformation in its own right. I'm going to be as I mentioned, next weekend with Mark Wallin. And I'm so excited about this because this is a huge portal opening for me. I just know it. And I'm going to be so excited to share bit by bit to you as it unfolds. But these opportunities, and possibilities, they really open up when we're really aligned. And that alignment comes from, in this environment with certain capabilities and skills, there are certain sets of beliefs and values. And then there's the identity, and then there's the transmission link. Who else is involved here? So the alignment is so key. And when I work with clients, that's one of the things I cross check to make sure people are aligned, right? Because if we're not, we're off kilter. So it's just a wonderful way to have evidence that in the way we breathe, walk, think, feel, and talk really makes our life look different. And so do the fields. So if there's blocked energy, speaking of blocked, and it's caught in the past, burdened with patterns and imprints, deformed, loaded with guilt, for example, fear, and other junk, and linked to and intertwined with the fields of other people, well, not so good. And in addition, there's the influence of, superordinate fields in one's respective home country, the continent, as well as the global morphogenic field. And right now, we're all in a situation where there is so much collective trauma. The DNA of everyone from their homeland, their ancestral lineage is vibrating at a very, very high frequency because of mostly fear. So altogether, they often appear to be big noise with infinite disharmony. And my work is all about bringing harmony to people. So, our fields are often fragmented in different times and identities and realities. And these are, just really, if you think of it, there's so many examples of fragments from different times with different identities and everything that is still, and I mean still, within us, but not yet resolved and cleared up, carries an energetic charge. And this charge creates reality, tension, malfunction, and illness. So when you ask about all this, that's exactly what it's all about. And that's the basis of trauma. So the, original field of which I talk about, because family constellations and systemic trauma is all about working with the field, then this field is our individual soul field. It's modified, however, by the unresolved issues of our lives. And as energetic charges, these issues recreate certain realities so that we have the opportunity, and there's always opportunity, to resolve the issues and learn something. But what happens when someone doesn't have his or own identity? I mean, that is when there's like, I am. In that case, then this person carries the identity perhaps of another soul, of an external field, and is subject to the influence and life plan of that specific person or other identity. So in that situation, we have a big conflict. No matter what we do, we won't be happy. And so for this reason, having your own identity is the most important foundation of a happy and meaningful life. And I think for now, that is where I'm going to close for today. But I want you to remember the fact that it's all about the field and knowing that the field exists and we're always in the field, whether we know it or not. So I just want to ask you one question before I go. And that is, what more do you want out of life? What more do you want out of life? So for me, to be aware, ever aware of the love. And I continually ask myself, what is it I really want out of life? And my reply is to have that answer always in my heart. Yeah, to always carry that in my heart, to be aware, ever aware of the love, because the love is always in the field. And so for now, I'm going to sign off with lots of love and soul hugs, and we will be speaking with you next week. So have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a wonderful weekend. Bye bye for now.